Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Hello, and welcome to Better Business Podcast. My name is Alexei, and I'm excited to be back. I've been away for a couple of weeks. It's good to get out and spend some time on the snow with the family. Lucky we actually got some snow at Bulla near Melbourne last week. So yeah, back in action. And today I want to talk about flow, as you would have already guessed. So that quote by Bruce Lee, I think, is something that most small business owners really need to understand, because if you're finding that you do something and some tasks are like pulling teeth, or some people are not really playing along with you, that basically means that there's no flow within your organization. Now, if you're working by yourself, chances are there's probably quite a few tasks that you're handling that are outside of your expertise. And I guess getting flow is really more about that optimal performance. That's really what you want. And I guess to achieve that, you really need to, first of all, identify to see where the actual bottlenecks are. There's a psychological perspective to this whole flow where, it's a state where you're involved in a particular activity, or other people are involved in activity where they basically just flow with the whole thing, and they feel like they're solving more than just a simple problem. It's almost like it's aligned with, I guess, their mission, if you like. I think many businesses don't go that deep, but a lot of the time it really comes down to the team culture, which is a completely different topic. But at the end of the day, you really want to make sure you align people with the right tasks to create that flow. In our business, we use a profiling system for each person, so personality profiling, and that really allows us to understand the strengths and weaknesses. I think if any business wants to get into more flow, that's a really good way to get started. But if you're working by yourself, if you're a sole operator, I think you need to have a look at the actual activities that are giving you the most grief. Most business owners are fairly passionate about what they do in a particular area, but many businesses don't like doing things like accounting, for example. I'm just, giving you an example here. And if that's the case, you really need to find the right person to work with you and make sure you've got the right processes with those people to basically deliver the outcome. So, if it's the bookkeeping that needs to be done, or if it's the accounts that need to be sent, you need to make sure you set this up in a particular way to create that flow. Now, I guess a common reason why there are challenges with flow is things like lack of experience, or potentially insufficient delegations, or certain distractions in your business. And I guess, like I said, every business has got its own challenges, but you can't be an expert in everything. It's as simple as that. If you're trying to do your marketing, if you're trying to service clients and provide customer service, as well as deliver obviously the best service based on whatever trade you're in, I think it's just unrealistic to be good at everything. So this is where you may need to outsource certain tasks, or get somebody else involved at a reasonable cost, or potentially evaluate whether that activity is necessary. I find a lot of people get into things like social media just for the sake of doing it, because they feel like, hey, it's easy, it doesn't cost me anything. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. It's time, it's really costing you a lot of your time. And if you look at the time versus the outcome, sometimes it's not really worth it. Or you may need to look into getting a strategy that actually works better for you. In either case, I think you need to really contact somebody who can help you sort that problem. Either a person to train you, or maybe a person who can provide a course for you, maybe even find something online. Insufficient delegation is another one of those things. I find as a business owner, you don't delegate enough tasks. So for myself personally, I've tackled this problem in a way that I set myself a timer. If I don't solve a problem in 2 weeks, I would normally have to delegate it to somebody else. So I basically made a rule like that myself, and that's really helped me let go of a lot of things, based on the fact that you sort of always feel like you've got the time to do things, and then you end up working long hours, and then you're not specifically productive with the work that you do as well. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I guess that's what it's really all about. And I guess distractions, are there things that we're doing that disrupt our flow? Is there something that we could potentially be avoiding doing, or is there something that we should possibly be doing at a different time? Many people are, obviously passionate about things like Netflix, or I don't know, Amazon, whatever it is that you watch, but it shouldn't really be a disruption to your day. And if you find that you not really committing to the tasks that really need to help your business, and rather than that, jump into something else, well, just doesn't seem to be aligned. So I think you really need to look into how to optimize that flow and manage your time better. So yeah, I guess time management plays a huge role when it comes to flow and overall getting into that flow. I personally find that using things like Pomodoro technique, which is something that we discussed a while ago, on the importance of working in uninterrupted chunks, does allow you to be in the flow where you're just focusing on one particular task and you work for 25-minute intervals without any interruptions. Does really get you into the flow and really frees up a lot of the mental energy as well. Another thing that you could obviously do is, minimize things like email, or potentially if you work in an office, let people know that you are focusing on something. You need a little bit of peace and quiet in order to do it, because otherwise someone's very likely to come to you and say, hey, can you help me with this? Or have you got 5 minutes, which is a really, really common one. So, little time management techniques can really help you with that flow. I also think that potentially starting your day with a clear list of tasks and understanding exactly what you're going to be working on today really helps as well. Because oftentimes, if you don't plan your day, something gets thrown at you that you're not ready for, or you may have to basically juggle between different tasks that do require you to be in the zone of doing that particular task. I mean, I personally hate doing something creative and then having to jump into accounting, which I don't really like altogether. But sometimes that's something that needs to be done. So I try to separate those tasks out and not do those things in the same day, if that makes sense. If you've got obviously people around you as well, I think it's very important to set goals and share those goals with people around you in order to understand where you guys are going. Because if you think about the concept of flow, it's about making sure that you're going somewhere. So the flow is either a cyclical flow where nothing interrupts you and you work in this synergetic way, or it's something where you're going from one state to another and it's actually a defined journey. So I think goal setting as an exercise, especially as a team, really does help with the flow, and then understand how each person contributes to it can make things easier for you as well. I guess the whole thing is you really need to make sure you can maintain that flow. And I guess flow like water is an easy concept to understand. And there's a lot of philosophy behind this. There's a lot of there's a lot of books on the subject. But I think at the end of the day, you feel it yourself when you sort of feel like you're not getting some things done and it becomes an ongoing procrastination. And if that's the case, that the flow is really what you want to address. I quite like Bruce Lee. I find he's quite motivational and also quite clear as well in terms of being able to follow it. He does talk about things in a very psychological way, but I think if you apply that to the everyday of your business, you'll understand how to make a difference. At least, consider this as a concept to make your day better. Anyway, my name is Alexei. This is Better Business Podcast, helping you create a positive change. And I'll chat to you soon.